The government is saying that they are going to bring in agency workers. My question to you is, I'm guessing that some of your members will still stay on the picket lines. What will they do if agency workers try to cross those picket lines?
Well, we will picket them. What do you think we'll do? We run a picket line and we'll ask them not to go to work.
Okay, so that is a man named Mick Lynch. He's the General Secretary of the National Union of Rail, Maritime and Transport Workers, a British train union that is currently on strike, trying to keep their jobs and asking just for a 7% increase in wages. Before we see more of that amazing exchange, let's just a little bit more context. So they had last minute talks that failed to bring about any agreements on Monday. The rail strikes got underway and will be the biggest in the UK for more than 30 years. The RMT strike involves 40,000 signalers, maintenance and train staff working for Network Rail, which is responsible for infrastructure such as track, stations, and level crossings, and 13 train operators. RMT says that Network Rail, is threatening to cut safety critical jobs as part of its modernization program, which would also include an increase in work hours. That's fun. And with inflation soaring, the union is asking for a pay rise that mitigates the pain for its members. Against an inflation rate heading towards 11%, the union wants a rise of 7% and has already rejected a Network Rail offer of 2%, rise with a further 1% tied to job cuts. So they're being offered peanuts. They'd like 7%. You've got crazy inflation, not just in the United States, but here in the UK. And then you have Mick, who is being harangued by this reporter who will not let go of the idea, and we could talk about what that idea might be in her head, that there's something extra nefarious about a picket line. Take a look at what keeps happening in this exchange.
Do you not know how a picket line works?
What do they do anyway? I very much know how a picket line works. I'm much older than I look, Mr. Lynch. What will picketing involve?
Well, you can see what picketing involves. I can't believe this line of questioning. Picketing is standing outside the workplace to try and encourage people who want to go to work not to go to work. What else do you think it involves?
And what if they want? Well, I just wondered what else it might involve, because I very well remember the picket lines of the 1980s.
Where are you going with your
Mr. Lynch? I'm asking you what your members would do, Mr. Lynch.
Which picket lines are you talking about?
The miners' strikes. Miners' strike.
Yeah. Well, does it look like the miners' strike?
Okay. So this goes on. Like, she will not give up this line of questioning. And I don't know about you guys, but it feels like she's waiting for him to say, well, then we blow it all up. Then we just strap on some suicide vests. Like, what is she very much is leading his line of questioning and thinking, and will not let go of, like, that somehow this is going to turn violent. And I feel like that's the answer she wants. Did you guys pick up on that as well?
Yeah, she's totally baiting it. She's like, oh, well, what will you do if they try and cross it? And then, goes on to ask about prior, strikes that got violent. It's absurd. And I love his response. I think everyone who is ever going to be interviewed on TV absolutely needs to take notes, because he just doesn't accept the expected conduct and the parameters of how you're supposed to act on news. Instead of fumbling over his words and answering the question seriously, he takes an issue with the line of questioning, as he should, because it's absurd. Here's this guy that's trying to get people, better wages, people who are struggling, and he's being interrogated by someone who's like, well, can people cross your picket lines? Someone whose salary is probably paid by corporate advertisers, someone who's probably not union friendly. And so I love this. You have no reason to be nice to someone like this. And if you're on the news, be an absolute menace to reporters who are treating you like this. I love it. Go, Mick.
I agree with that. I like his attitude. I also love the way he says picketing is pick-ing. That's pretty fun as well. But the only thing I will take issue with is that he seems to be having so much fun taking the out of her in that he keeps doing it over and over again. After doing that once or twice, the only tip I would give him to change it up is then go back to what you want to talk about, which is share the real reasons that you're picketing, and don't let her waste the whole segment in this argument. Say, you're clearly trying to get me to say something that I'm not gonna say because it's not true. We're here to peacefully picket. Why? Because we are not getting a pay raise even equal to the rise in inflation, which is insane. Why should rich business owners already get to take more of our hours for less money? That makes sense to nobody. So what's your question again? That's the way you improve upon it.
Sure. It seems like they both were at this like detente, like they just were like, no, I'm not gonna budge, you budge, and neither of them wanted to. But Mick has been doing other media appearances in defense of the railway strikers and workers who are demanding that 7% wage increase, which is minimal compared to the amount of inflation there. So just take a look at some of his other appearances.
You've been accused severally in the last few weeks of being a Marxist. It happened again last night. A backbench Tory MP said you were a Marxist with no interest in anything other than trying to tear down the government. Now, are you or are you not a Marxist? Because if you are a Marxist, then you're into revolution and into bringing down capitalism. So are you or aren't you?
Richard, you do come up with the most remarkable twaddle sometimes, I've got to say.
I didn't say you were a Marxist. I'm saying that you're being accused of being a Marxist, and that's not twaddle. That's called reporting.
No, I'm not. I'm not a Marxist. I'm an elected official of the RMT. I'm a working class bloke leading a trade union dispute about jobs, pay, and conditions of service.
You think this is a class struggle, class war?
Well, there's a class aspect to everything in the economy. There are lower paid people and there are wealthy people in this society. And what's wrong in this society is that there is an imbalance between the people that do the work to keep this country going, who create the wealth of our civilization and don't get a fair share of that wealth because it's going to people who are vastly wealthy. We should be comfortable with backing working class people who are struggling. And one of the ways that they can redress the imbalance is through industrial action where negotiations fail. What else are we to do? Are we to plead? Are we to beg? We want to bargain for our futures.
And Mick Lynch taking on all of the UK's awful media and their skew. I just have to point to this great graphic. Thank you to the producers who found this, that's showing that basically none of this media campaign against the RMT is working. The majority of UK adults say that rail strikes this week have been justified. So 58% say it's justified, 34% say it's unjustified. I can't remember. I think both Ben and Jessica are making the point that these are all like corporate media outlets. Obviously, they're not going to be on the side of workers. They're not even doing the fake populism thing that Fox News does, because Fox News doesn't even interview unionizing workers who are on strike. But I just love, he's just this one man, just kind of like ninja for unionizing and striking in the UK. I love it.
Everyone who is simping for trains, everyone who likes trains is getting accused of being a communist tonight. Right. And I'm gonna make a Charlie Kirk argument because there might be something to this. There's probably a correlation between people who really like trains and people who are commies. I think it's probably the case, 90% sure, as Charlie Kirk would say.
Right, that's why Joe Biden, right? I mean, God, that commie. Why won't he stop doing legislation that is socialist?
Yeah, those answers from Mick were much more in line with what I was suggesting, is just taking down people with very strong points. And if you can excuse me from the frame for a second, I'm gonna bring something back that might be a prop that might help this moment.
Trains, I hope it's a train.
I hope it's a conductor's hat and a puppet.
I love it. I love it so much. How can they give the railway workers a hard time? I mean, we've got to.
Mick, I hope you're watching.
Yeah, Mick, are you out there? Tweet us at the show.
I am a member of the Communist Party.
Trains.
The whole train set, you guys.
Yes.
It's a whole Mick would be very proud. I mean, Sky News very upset. That's a Marxist paraphernalia right there, and I think we need to call that out.
Choo choo.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.